Every single person has had an experience where they set a goal but struggle to achieve it or are easily distracted by something else. There can be all kinds of different reasons for this, but a common one that the self-help industry brings up is that people lack this one thing: self-discipline. According to people like Elon Musk or some other big shot CEO, self-help has narrowed down how we can all be better disciplined in our own lives and achieve greatness by following these individuals and their picking up their traits, or finding inspiration in productivity quotes. But I definitely have some doubts about that particular angle. For starters, CEOs, and especially Elon Musk, aren't exactly the stellar examples of great discipline that they're presented to be, what with Elon Musk crashing out on a regular basis, as well as drugged out of his mind these days. Brilliant innovator this Elon Musk is. And clearly, a man of great discipline, too. But even beyond that, the overall concept and how it's typically packaged to us is more like a taste of hustle bro culture and the usual self-help for men garbage that plagues the internet these days. It's not exactly great.
Yikes, 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 and let me guess, you have a great personality.
Don't get me wrong, self-discipline is a pretty helpful thing, and there are definitely some good intentions behind it. But time and time again, it's easier to use those weak examples or slip into those hustle bro talking points rather than offering something useful. So let's talk about some genuine approaches and tactics to develop better self-discipline and be productive people at our own pace. Because self-discipline is often associated to hustle culture, it's easy to lump it in with one of those buzzwords or be a benign concept that's vaguely explained. So with that in mind, a good first step is understanding what it actually is and relating it to your life. Because it's far from this rigid concept where practicing it demands you be this unemotional and completely focused individual that can't be broken or whatever. Digging underneath the surface level, self-discipline, it has more flexibility and focuses less on the immediate and more on our long-term goals and aspirations. After all, those require more time and patience and therefore discipline than our day-to-day commitments.
You just need to believe.
It means foregoing the convenient path that could theoretically solve all of our problems and focus on the much bigger picture here. Self-discipline is like learning to write well, rather than asking ChatGPT to write for you, for example. Overall, it's just another tool to help you stay focused in addition to other things like motivation and entering a flow state that can really help you with just staying focused.
Now look at the ground. Back to me. Where's the Dragon Ball? It's gone.
If you already have strategies for building those things, then self-discipline is just the cherry on top that is meant to pull you back into a task whenever you are ready for it. And the next steps only improve that process for us. Self-discipline only really starts to work when you have a direction, and the best way to give yourself a direction is to have goals, naturally. How you go about this is really up to you, but I'd recommend having goals that stem from genuine desires, values, and passions. In other words, goals that stem from asking yourself questions and figuring out what you really want out of life. As simple as that may sound, I know a lot of self-help gurus tend to put a lot of ideas in people's heads and make them think that these are their own ideas, and that can really detract us from our own actual aspirations and vision for our lives, even though what they're trying to present to us is pretty darn good ideas.
Both is good.
That aside, having clarity on your goals is about understanding who you are, who you want to become, and also to reconfirm that. Goals change people, and as you progress, pick up new skills, experience life, and so on, the goals that you've set might not be as realistic as they are right now. And so, even if you're confident that your goals are your own, do a double take just to be sure that these are the goals that you want to be working towards. Asking yourself questions and finding more reasons to take action only drives that sense of discipline that gurus talk about. And overall, this translates into a more refined path for you to walk on that just makes things easier as you can adapt more whenever something new emerges. Between our flaws and our own current situation, mistakes happen in addition to us only being able to do so much at any given point. Traditionally, plenty of self-help gurus would brush these aside and say that self-discipline can bust down these things as if they're nothing but glass ceilings in our lives. But that's simply not true.
It's false. No way.
Not this time.
We created it. Not this time. No.
Believing that leads to this binary thinking that hustle culture and other gurus put us through, that where if we lose focus, we're lacking self-discipline, or if we give up or we stop, we're complete and utter failures and losers. Beating ourselves up about this and getting stuck in unproductive and unhealthy loops is really the intention here, and they're not at all helpful for our own growth, obviously.
Oh my god. I get it.
It's why I stressed self-discipline be redefined in your head, because genuine discipline is recognizing that we're not perfect beings, that we are flawed. That, and realizing the expectation that we have to be this constant productivity machine that will never stop, is just an impractical mindset and an absurd expectation for our lives, and an absurd expectation of what self-discipline actually is. Being aware of our flaws and limitations makes us feel more real, as it culminates in distinct values and standards for ourselves. Discipline is rigid in the sense that it keeps us grounded in reality and gives us truths about ourselves that we can refine, mitigate, or accept and make mental notes of. Being flawed is fine. Obsessing over fixing every little thing defeats the purpose of living. It's strictly better for us to know what those flaws are and to act accordingly instead. And if the flaw is smaller in nature and something that we can actually have control over, then we can address that. If you find yourself checking your phone a lot or scrolling through social media, move your phone far away or put it into another room entirely while you're working. Block websites during work times is another option for you. If you get invited to an event by a highly controversial figure, have some standards for yourself and turn them down. If you struggle to take breaks, set a digital timer to remind yourself to stretch and to take water breaks. Look at some of the easy flaws and vices that nag you, and vow to make some adjustments overall. If you fail, try something else. Just don't beat yourself up about it. Growth never happens alone or in a vacuum. It's often shared, and its impact stretches far beyond our own individual efforts. It's all the more reason to be deliberate about it and have someone or several people to lean on and talk things over. To be part of a community and cooperate with other people.
And engage in jolly cooperation.
This method I find to be more effective, as you and others will feel more invested in checking up on one another and sharing progress reports. It creates a more natural accountability system, as it were. This also gets further amplified when you're working at the same time or in the same vicinity as well. Just the idea of working with others gives us a sense of connectivity and intense focus. Like how a lot of writers or students work in coffee shops. As I can attest, that kind of environment and atmosphere is very calming and relaxing and can really help with developing focus and just being in a nice place for once, rather than just sitting at a boring old desk. Overall, seeking connections and connecting with other people and just being in environments where work is happening in a more natural way is just another healthy layer for self-discipline, as you expect to at least come back with something to share, even if it's really not that much. And in those times where you really don't have that much to share, or you're kind of stuck in a slump, you can lean onto other people and their work and progress as just a means of motivating yourself and getting inspired by that and being affected in a positive way by that. Another method that I don't see that's brought up that much is strengthening our anchor routines. To put it simply, anchor routines are essentially just objects or environments where we perform specific actions, like how our bed is a place for sleeping, or our work desk is for work. It really sounds simple, however, we could be struggling to practice self-discipline because our anchor routines are really screwed up and we don't actually recognize that.
So I am confusion.
For example, with sleep deprivation, there's a reason why if you ever go to a sleep doctor to try and address that, the very first thing that they will probably ask you is whether you are watching TV or working in bed. Not because of the blue light stuff, but rather these activities, as these sleep doctors have figured out, can really jumble with our brain, and it can lead to that sleep deprivation and struggle with sleeping. While that's not always going to be the case for those who do actually have insomnia, the general sense of all of this still holds that depending on where you are, we will be performing specific actions. And so strengthening and refining those particular routines can make a difference in our own discipline and how we work and how we focus and how we get distracted. Beyond sleep, if your desk is where you work and you have several items that aren't even work related, or it's just a complete and utter mess, then self-discipline is just simply cleaning that stuff up and moving some of those distractions away from that workspace and creating a more firmly established work environment for yourself. It can mean working at very specific times as well, if you're really into that. Of course, with habits and routines, they also, of course, take a lot of time to reinforce and to be implemented in our own lives. But just putting the effort in general to strengthen our anchor routines and refine them is just the very essence of self-discipline and can really help us with our focus and being motivated and less distracted. At the heart of all of this, how you do anything in your life defines how you grow as a person and who you become. For sure, a concept like self-discipline is seen as this gritty and tough concept, but it doesn't have to be like that. Look at what discipline means to you. A sense of focus from a place that's calm and serene, and where you can be yourself while getting things done. Another method to get yourself into a flow state even. The key is to really make it your own and build it how you want to. And I think with these particular things, you can do just that. So give it a try. Thank you guys so much for watching the entirety of this video. It would really mean a lot to me if you pressed on the like button and also subscribe to my channel for more content like this in the future. I love you guys.